Hey, it's me, Hannah, and today we're chasing tail. We're making a tail, specifically a devil tail, hence the fiendishly bad jokes. I'm sorry, let me start over. I need to make a tail for an upcoming cosplay, but there's no way in hell. Do you get it? That I'll have the whole cosplay done in time for this video. But I thought it would be fun to use it to make a little Valentine's Day devil costume to celebrate love and commercialism or whatever. Now, I have watched a few tutorials, specifically one from Alena Frost here on YouTube, and I think I can adapt that pretty easily to use the supplies I already have lying around the house to achieve the look that I'm going for. I'm planning to use some 3mm, I believe, EVA foam, some EVA foam craft dowels, some 3mm 8-gauge wire, some contact cement, and some PPE for when I'm using the contact cement, some leftover polyfill, and some pink spandex, which I'm taking from a second bodysuit that I bought to perfectly match the first bodysuit that I'm using for the cosplay. The first thing I need to do is glue these two dowels together and figure out how long I want this tail to be.
After applying the contact cement to one of the ends of both foam rods, I waited patiently for it to cure before making the dowels kiss each other. I knew I was going to cover this part, so I decided to go ahead and reinforce the connection point with electrical tape before checking the length in the mirror. Once I was happy with it, I cut partway through the dowel foam, just enough to be able to stick some wire in there. And I tried to glue this back up, but it was not complying, so I just came back through with some electrical tape, and we were right as rain. Again, this is getting covered, so I wasn't that pressed about perfection here. Okay, so now is the point where I'm starting to deviate a little bit from Alena's original tutorial, which calls for some thicker upholstery foam, which I don't have, but what I do have is EVA foam. And I think it's the same thickness that the upholstery foam is supposed to be, so I'm hoping that I can make this work. It'll definitely be less flexible, but I'm hoping that that will be a benefit and will make it stronger versus too stiff and like unnatural. I'm also thinking that because it's EVA foam, I'll be able to cut the edges at a 45-degree angle to make them meet and almost create a little bit of a ridge, which I'm hoping will feel a touch more skeletal and therefore actually feel a little bit more like a biological feature of my character. Hopefully that makes sense and hopefully it'll work. I suppose there's really only one way to find out. Let's get to cutting. It did in fact take until I glued the pieces together to realize that the ridge that I had hoped to achieve by cutting on a 45-degree angle was actually on the bottom of the tail, but oh well, let's keep pushing forward. Alrighty, so I have my tail, and I also have the tip of my tail. And I was thinking once I attach these two together, we'd be pretty much ready to add the final layer, which is repurposing this bodysuit to essentially make a sleeve to wrap around this piece. However, because this is brown and this is white, that color variation is going to show through the translucent fabric. So I could just paint this white. That would probably be the easiest, but paint takes time to dry and it's foam, so you never know how well it's gonna take and how many layers I'm gonna need, and I also don't feel like it. But what I do have is a bunch of this leftover quilting batting that is not thick enough to be the original layer, but could add a nice little bit of texture to the layer that ends up being right underneath the spandex material. So I'm kind of thinking that's what I'm going to do, is just put one more layer before the spandex, get these to at least be a little bit closer in color as an underlayer. And I don't have to paint anything. I just get to go ahead and break out my sewing machine, which I have been itching to do. So I'm going to go ahead and just use these as pattern pieces to decide how much of the batting I need and in what shape. I still need to attach these two pieces together too, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll see where we can go from there. Okay, so we have her completely covered in this batting material, and now I basically need to do the exact same thing except with the spandex material. I probably should have done this when I had the tip of the tail separated from the rest of the tail, but I got excited. I don't know what to tell you. I think it'll be fine. I can still figure out how to make this work. But yeah, let's harvest some material from this jumpsuit and make this tail pretty and pink. I took all this time to pin everything, but ended up not being able to easily remove the batting from the long part of the tail with the pins in place. So I just traced the outline and sewed 2 layers together along that trace line. The stretch fabric made it super easy and very forgivable. this is pretty much perfect. I am so stoked on my little tail. Big tail, honestly. But I'm trying to figure out the best way to get it to attach to my body. And I was thinking like a belt or something like that might be a good option. But if I want to wear it like, you know, under stuff, having a big bulky belt might not be as comfortable or aesthetically pleasing. So I think what I'm actually going to do is put some old underwear on the internet. I can't think of a better way to more perfectly place a tail in a somewhat anatomically correct position on my body than with some underwear. So what I think I'm going to do is stitch the tail to the back of this underwear that I don't wear very often, and I'm willing to sacrifice to the cosplay cause. I can't say I'm positive that this is going to work, but I think it's worth a try because it feels like it would be the easiest way to get it done and get it positioned correctly and make it comfortable. So I'm gonna give it a go. Yeah, that worked perfectly. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. And if you're wondering to yourself, Hannah, why did you choose to come on camera looking so busted? Well, I am in my pre-shower phase, and I figured that would be the perfect time to try out making myself pink. I got some pink full coverage foundation, and I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to do for this cosplay, and I figured tonight would be the perfect night to try everything out and then maybe put together a little Valentine's Day shoot for myself as a devil. So let's try out some hair and makeup, and most importantly, my devil's tail. Jump scare. For this, I'm giving Sunset Makeup a go. They offer a bunch of different colored foundations and concealers and all kinds of stuff, which is fun. I'd rather do that versus like a paint, I think. At least in theory, it will feel better and wear like makeup. So let's give it a go. Ma'am, I'm gonna start with the lighter concealer color, which is definitely further from the skin tone color that I'm trying to achieve with the bodysuit. But I figured this would be good for kind of hitting some of those highlight areas. Of course, I can't find any of my makeup sponges or even appropriate brushes at the moment, so we are just gonna go in with our fingers today. I'm already so obsessed with this. And now let's finalize our base with the foundation. Oh my gosh, this is such a bright pink. It does really seem that a little goes a long way. I just looked at myself in the viewfinder and it's giving Oompa Loompa. I think that that's good for a base. Let's add a little bit of contour. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of eyeshadow, probably a combination of the like more rusty orangish red mixed with the darker red maroon color, and see if I can get something that'll help me achieve a little bit of a jawline. I'm just very slowly blending this out. Just a little on my nose. And I'm gonna put a good amount underneath my nose so that, or like on the bottom part here, so that it almost gives a little bit of a goat feel to it. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to wear my goat eye contact lenses for the shoot or not, but I feel like I should give it a go, right? I'll just kind of bring that up into my eyebrows, which I should also probably bring a little red into, since the wig that I'm wearing is red. I'm going to continue blending this out using this peachy pink color, which is just very close to what my actual like skin color is supposed to be based on the jumpsuit. Again, I figured this would be a good way to kind of introduce that color a little bit more drastically and blend some of these edges. Whoa, that was too much at one time. But we'll just blend it out. And then I'm also going to use that same peachy color to define my eyes a little bit more. And maybe even a pop of this shimmery pink just above it to add a little bit of a glow. I'm really not being precious with this either, but I am trying to at least get a little bit of a corner put together here. Okay, so this pink is still kind of cool toned, so I think I'm going to introduce a little bit more of this coral color to warm it up. This is a blush, so obviously I'm going to spend most of my time on my cheeks, but I might use it also as a little bit of a sort of like a setting powder situation once I get through my blush application. So it'll also help me kind of blend out some of this contour. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. I don't know if camera is really picking up the big differences there, but a lot warmer, making it a lot more likely to match my skin tone. Also, I washed my hands and the pink isn't really coming off that well. So this might be the new me. Off camera, I went ahead and added little wing eyeliner moments and fluffed out my eyebrows. And now that I have mascara on, I can go ahead and do some false eyelashes. And I know there are a lot of people out there that would be yelling at me to put my contacts in before I finalize my eye makeup, but makeup is already such an uphill battle for me that I don't want to impede my vision. And I'm okay at putting contacts in, so hopefully I can do it without weeping too much. I have also wrangled my friend Lex into helping me with this shoot. She's a photographer here in Central Virginia, and we've been trying to get a photo shoot together for a while, so this is a really fun one for our first creative project together. Please don't get your tail in the eyelash glue. All right, what do we think? Am I rocking the pink? Okay, let's see if we can get these contacts in without crying at the club. Okay, not that bad. These are super subtle. I wonder if that's really even worth it. Well, this one's already in, so let's run with it. I do want to see if they'll stay in place. I think I'll be able to tell because the shape will change, but I may also just get used to them and stop seeing the shape. I don't know. This is a trial run. That's what these tests are for. Whew, okay, that one was not as easy. And I will not be including the footage, but watching it back later for myself, that's gonna be really funny. But I think that is my final touch as far as makeup goes. So let's get my wig on, get dressed, and head over to my photo shoot location. The worst thing in the world has happened. I showed up before my photographer did, and now I'm just in the park looking like this. Pretty fabulous, if I do say so myself. The biggest thank you in the world to Lex and her sister Grace for helping me capture some truly stunning photos of this little Valentine's Day fiend. We had so much fun tromping around in the snow on a weirdly warm and sunny day. Thanks, Virginia weather. And I'm already looking forward to working together in the future, so go give her a follow on Instagram. And while I'm here, let me also send a huge shout out to the gang over on Patreon and my #1 maker and shaker, Danielle. Thanks so much for your feedback on my contacts last week. You guys saved me a lot of annoyance at KatsuCon, and I appreciate you so, so much. Okay, super quick recap because I am in the park by myself again. That was so much fun. I cannot wait to share the photos with you guys, and I may even have, by the time this video is up, have posted some on Instagram, so go check it out over there. I love my tail, but she may be a little long. She got a little dirty, just dragging along in the snow and the melting snow, therefore mud, that is Virginia this time of year. But like I said before, that is what these tests are for. I have learned that I need to do a better job gluing my fingernails to my jumpsuit, my glove part of the jumpsuit. I'm not even sure that I really enjoy wearing the jumpsuit as opposed to potentially painting my arms for the upcoming cosplay. So I'm gonna probably explore some options there. So we'll see what I end up doing for Katsu, but I am really happy with the makeup and the horns and how all of that turned out. This photo shoot was, like I said, such a blast. It was really fun getting to work together with Lexi and make this all come to life. And I just had a blast. So if you had as much fun as I did, it would mean the world to me if you would like and subscribe. And if you do, I will see you in 2 weeks for my next video. Take care.